And the issue of demolition of houses and communities is become rampant in the FCT in recent times. Most of these demolitions are carried out on the orders of the government, with victims crying illegality on many occasions. Let's speak with the Commissioner for Public Complaints Commission of the Federal Capital Territory, Ezekiel Dalhatu Musa, whose office receives many of these complaints of demolition. Very warm welcome to Newsnight.
Thank you very much.
Let me just fire the first salvo, recalling Sonyo Koku's who owns the land, Papa's land. So who owns this land in Ido Seriki?
Okay, good evening, Nigerians and the resident of FCT. I really want to appreciate the Arise TV platform for yet another opportunity for us to make some record straight and then educate the general public on the happenings in Ido Seriki, Tungamaje Axis, where we have the Nigerian military threatening to take over a very vast land unallocated for. This matter has been
allocated to who?
Unallocated.
Not yet allocated.
No, not allocated.
So where is the military drawing its strength from?
That's why Public Complaint Commission is very committed to this, and then to ensuring that the writing is done in tandem with our leader, which is the ground law, the constitution, because the Nigerian military are not operating a different constitution aside the one we have in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This matter was investigated by the National Assembly in 2018. The Senate organized a public investigative hearing on this matter, where all hierarchy of military, NSA, DSS, Honorable Minister, FCT, the traditional rulers, the chairman were all there at the National Assembly. And the question was well put to ask the military, do you actually have the allocation of this land? And they claim they do. And they asked them to also present their papers. But they never did. In that same public investigative hearing, the Honorable Minister FCT, represented by his permanent secretary, stood up to say they do not have an allocation of that land. And he said, he made it very clear that that land is for the expansion of Abuja International Airport, Lot 1, 2, 3. And so, at the end of the day, the Senate committee for that, it was Abubakar Kyari then was Senate Committee Defense. The committee clearly stated and said and directed that the military should stop work on that land until all issues are clarified. Just recently, not to go too far, we had a situation where the Nigerian Navy went to Ido community and planted signposts directing them to park and leave, and that every property that is on this land will be demolished forthwith, immediately. And they ran to my office again, crying. So unfortunate that this is happening in the city of Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. And I really visited the community, and after doing my on-the-spot, I wrote to the Honorable Minister, drawing his attention to an impending crisis that is in our hands. Because some of these people who have no any place to go, they have no place to call their own. These are ancestral indigenous communities that have been existing years before the coming of the FCT. And we know too well that there are laid down procedure for government to take over any land in the FCT. And it's been going on. So for the military, especially the Navy this time around, to just come and plant signposts, no development control, no Department of Resettlement and Compensation, not even the Federal Capital, the FCT Minister, who is a custodian of the land, but the Nigerian Navy coming to plant signpost and asking
this is just a brute force by the Nigerian military. And I'm sure exactly the ministers of defense are watching. The chief of defense staff is a gentleman, General Chris. He's going to be watching this too. So, but why that kind of brute force to want to hijack emasculate the people and take their lands. What is your commission supposed to do beyond informing the FCT minister that there is an impending implosion in his domain?
Clearly, after that, the Minister of FCT, being proactive as he is, called for a roundtable discussion. He called for a meeting officially. I was invited. The Sarkin Jiwa was invited. That is the chiefdom where this community is located. The Emir of Jiwa, the AMAC chairman was invited.
The Sarkin Jiwa is not Emir. They don't have
the Sarkin Jiwa was invited. The AMAC chairman was invited. And the hierarchy of this military, the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, were in that meeting. And it was a very simple question once again that the Honorable Minister asked. He put the question straight. Do you have papers and allocation to this land? And the military said yes. It's okay, present your papers. But they now said they didn't come with them, the papers, they should give them the next day to bring the papers. I'm not sure if they have submitted till now. But another question was put to the Director of Land in that meeting, asking him straight and a very clear question. What's the status of that land?
Of the land.
And the Director of Land said that land is reserved and allocated to Nigeria Ministry of Aviation for the expansion of the airport. So Minister directed again, this is about 3 weeks back or so, Minister directed again that they should stop any activity on that land until he finishes his investigation and know the way forward. That was the reason why we went to Edo Sarki day before, just on Thursday, myself, the AMAC chairman, Sarkin Jiwa, because we are having distress call from the community members.
And the Nigerian Navy,
and that the Nigerian Navy is ongoing.
Yeah, the Nigerian Navy seems to be in the lead for this.
For this community.
Yes.
Like in Tungamaje, Zuba. Alagada, it is the army. Then the Nualege you saw, it is the Air Force. So these three armed forces, these three forces are actually the institution of government that is pushing hard to take over that land. That is clearly stated by the authority that be, the custodian of the land, FCT minister, clearly that that land is not allocated to them. And that's why public complaint is committed in ensuring that the writing is done, the constitution is obeyed to the letter, and that the people who are our own citizens that we need to protect and look after their welfare are not being manipulated.
They must be protected. The way it is. They must be protected and looked after, indeed. That's why you're there, and the courts are there. Thanks so very much, Honorable Dalhatu Ezekiel Musa, Commissioner, Public Complaint Commission of the Federal Capital Territory, for coming on news.
Thank you. God bless you.